What's up? Well, I got another little cool little Briggs motor to share with you. But first I wanted to say to the few subscribers I have, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I just post these videos because I like to watch, what other people do, and these little motors and their restorations and their projects. So hopefully I can, bring you along and share some of the things that I do and some of my projects. So with that said, again, thanks for all you. And if it wasn't for the viewers and the people, we wouldn't have YouTube and channels like this starting to grow. But anyway, on with the engine. What I got here is a Briggs Model FI. It looks like, based on the base, it came off a moto mower. And this little guy here is all original, unmolested, hasn't been finger poked. And when I got it, the guy that had it, I bought it from, when he had it sitting on the shelf, in his barn, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, holy moly. So I ended up taking it off his hands for him, and taking it off his hand for him, like I stole it from him. But anyway, I ended up with it. We struck up a deal, and it is all original. I am not going to restore this little guy. Basically, I am going to do a resurrection, see what it takes to get it going. And I'm going to leave him all alone. It's got beautiful patina. It's all original. I've got plenty other ones, and there's plenty other people out there that have tore them down and repainted them. But this little guy, I'm going to leave him all original. I think it's beautiful just the way it is. Get him running good. I'll bring you along and share that with you, and we'll find out what it takes to get it going. I do not know anything about it and what condition it's in. I picked it up. I brought it home probably a couple of years now. It's been sitting downstairs. I was going to get going on the next project I had, was a Fairbanks Morse 3-horse Model Z, an early model, before the plug oscillator. And I thought, this little guy is just screaming out, do me, do me, do me. So anyway, so here we are. I figured I'd bring you along. I'll go ahead and bring the camera in, give you a closer look, turn it around, because me personally, I like, so if anybody that's restoring them, you can see how they were originally before they were molested. But this is not going to be one of them two will it run videos that I see everybody doing. Apparently that must be the new thing to do. Will it run? Will it want to run? Well, sure, anything will run if you put enough time and money into it, so this is just going to be a good old resurrection, get it running, and put it on, put it in the collection with the rest of the motors. So I'll bring it in closer so you can get a better look. So as you can see, this little guy here is darn near all original condition. It's loose. Show you that side. Carburetor, I can't tell. Looks like a Tillotson on here, but I don't know. So a little bit of compression. I hoped a little bit more, but it's got a little bit, maybe to be enough to run. Here's the throttle, almost exactly a typical motor mower. That's what I have. What's on my Model PB I just got done doing. So throttle control. So next thing to do, well, while we're at it, heck, let's see if it's got. Let's see if she's got spark. Something of that nature, in that form. Let's see here. Tell you what, let's pull the spark plug out. Let me whack the spark plug a little bit. There it goes. spark plug did they have in there? Looks like it's a Champion K12G. I don't know if that's what's supposed to be in there, but it's in there. In fact, I know that's not the original spark plug, but looks a little grody, a little cruddy. So, I think I'm pretty sure that spark plug's not going to develop a lot of spark and all crap on there. But, well, let's check and see why that's got not loose. Trying to put this in a better spot so I can show you if it has spark or not. Like, no spark. Imagine that. No spark. Pretty stiff. So I don't know what kind of oil. Who knows what kind of molasses oil there's put in here, but let's just see what kind of oil's in here. Yep, smells like good old oil. Good old gargoyle. Yummy. Well, at least it's, look at that. That's like, surprisingly, somebody put fresh oil in there. Wow. I'd have to save the oil, right? Original 1930s motor gargoyle. Yeah, right, not. Anyway, so that again, yeah, it's good oil. But no spark. Feels a little funny on the compression. Kind of sucks when I cycle it through. I get some suction, almost like the intake valve is not opening when it should. I should have a little more compression than that. I think the rings are okay. Maybe something's going on with the valve and the timing. So anyway, no spark. Something's going on with the compression. I'd like to be a little bit higher. So I think what I'll go ahead and do next is pull the cover off, tank and all that, and we'll get into the magneto and see what's going on with that. And I'm probably guessing I wouldn't be surprised if the coil isn't bad. Seems to be the thing lately when I get into these motors, older motors like that. The high side winding is open. Probably why they pulled it off. Who knows? So anyway, I'll get it apart and on to the next step. So I got the blower housing pulled off. I didn't want to bore you with me taking it all apart because Lord knows we've all seen motors come apart. And so I didn't want to bore you with that. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I did want to show you. So when I got in here and got the flywheel off, for those of you that restore these old Briggs motors, I just want to show this to you. The inside of this flywheel looks like it's brand new. Even, look on the shoulder here. there's no, there's no separating. Usually the casting starts separating pretty bad, or you get some separation happening here. This is like, I mean, there's no rust or anything, so it's like this has all been replaced at one time. And then you get, hey, look at this coil. I mean, there's no rust on this coil. This is all like, clean metal. Even the brass grounding tabs, grounding leads, condenser looks new. So I'm probably guessing this had all been replaced at some time. It looks that way. I'm hoping it's just the points are just dirty and got oil in them. That's why I don't have spark. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll ohm out the coil, make sure the windings are actually okay. From looking at this, I'm probably guessing they probably are now. Because usually when I get in these early Briggs, the head is just all rotted. There's the gunk from the coils all melting off and everything. But that is definitely, that's not original condenser. Some solder going on here. So it looks like, I'm guessing, yeah, somebody's probably been in here at one point and replaced all this. I did notice though, this back plate is probably original because it has, it's warped pretty good. I'll bring it over here and try to show you. See the warpage? And it's pretty common with these early Briggs motors. The pot metal they used was just garbage, and they threw whatever if the guys are mad, or from what I'm reading and people telling me that tin foil, whatever, they just throw it in the pot, and so that's where you get impurities and oxidization, and the oxidization causes this pot metal to swell and expand. And it's even worse is that Johnson Iron Horse I just got done with. The pot metal in it is like the worst I've ever seen. It's like one of the best motors ever built like a brick, what house, but the pot metal on the back plate, back plate just literally crumbled apart. I couldn't believe how bad it crumbled apart. And it didn't look like it'd been hit or, banged or, by blunt force or damage. It looks like it just finally crumbled apart. So, but anyway, I'll go ahead and ohm out the coil. I'll check the condenser to make sure it's okay. From the looks of things and the little grease and oil that's in here, I'm guessing it's probably oil on the points there, keeping it from having spark. So if that's the case, that'd be great. We'll get spark on this little guy, and then we'll go to the next step. Carburetor is a Tillotson, which they used on, Briggs used Tillotson in their own versions. Looks like the throttle's a little bound up, so I might have to go through the carburetor, clean it up. So I'll go ahead and check these out, and stay tuned. We'll go from there. So I did a little poking around. I did a little checking. I just wanted to show you this. I spoke too soon. So the high side winding, or the secondary, is open. As you can see on the meter there, I get nothing. Man, that's a shame. That's a really nice looking clean coil too. Now if I go to the primary side, it's about right. 0.9, usually 1 ohm, 0.9 to 1 ohm. But on the secondary side, and this is the cable, it goes all the way up the cable. So first I measured the top with a spark plug terminal in it, and then I came right down here and nothing. So I just want to share that with you. So looks like I'll be sourcing another coil, another Model Y coil. And on this one, you can see here too, it uses the 4 corner screws like early Briggs motors. The Model Y, I do have another coil, it uses just 2 screw here's and locating pins. And you can see the rivets. Now I talked about this in my earlier video on the Briggs PB. They have the rivets here, and they use these 4 screws. And that's what I did. I actually took the Briggs Model Y coil to use on this, and with the rivets, I showed you, if you saw my last video on the Briggs PB, I talked about the Hansen rivets. So I drilled through here and riveted this together so that I was able to go ahead and took the pins out, because the Briggs Model Y will have 4 locating pins in the corner. Once you take the locating pins out, the laminations will come apart. So if you're going to use a Briggs Model Y coil on these, that's what you got to do. Or you can use screws. You can grind these off with a grinder, use screws and screw it together. I just want to keep it original, so I end up using rivets. But anyway, So it's looking like this coil is bad. Let's see here if I can get a good check on this condenser real quick. Let's open, see if it'll seal again here. Oh, get on the right range here, dummy. Huh. Interesting. It's showing kind of bad too, but I'll have to go ahead and just totally desolder this guy and see what's really reading. I might be getting a false reading. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. I'll be sourcing a new coil and going from there. I don't know. I may try to, you know, I've always been kind of wanting to rewind one of these. I know a few guys have. Mike over at Small Engine Mechanic built a jig and he wound them. I have access to some really nice lathes and equipment, so I don't know. Maybe I'll just try, you know, do my own rewinding one, you know, on my own for the first time. But anyway, we'll go from there. So I went ahead and desoldered everything here so we can get some measurements on this condenser and actually get some true measurements. I got my Fluke 115 multimeter. It does have capacitance measurements on it, which is I measure all my condensers. That way it takes the guesswork out of it and to know whether they're good or not. It doesn't measure ESR, which is equivalent series resistance in a capacitor, but hey, it lets me know what kind of shape they're in. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. I'm getting electronic stuff here, which that's not what this is about. But let's go ahead and see what this little guy measures. 0.4 microfarads. That's actually pretty good. I've seen anywhere from 0.2 to all the way up to 1 microfarad. Now I have seen I had one that was 2 microfarads. It ran, you know, it's kind of a little funky. So, but usually anywhere on these is like a half a microfarad or so. Is, you know, if you get that, you're good. Anyway, I just want to show you that real quick. So this guy is good. Coil's bad. Points look fine. I just do a cleaning up. So I guess next thing I'll be doing is sourcing the coil and going from there. Well, I got lucky. I was actually able to fix the coil, the original coil. Actually, I didn't think I was going to be able to fix it. It started out as when I got done making the video, when I was tearing the motor apart. You know, I looked at the coil and I thought, man, what do I got to lose? You know, I might as well tear it apart. And I actually wanted to see where the break was in the winding. So I started peeling back the layers of the lamination and the insulation. And I peeled down. I was actually able to just the outer coating. And I thought, huh. So I started scraping off some of the varnish on the wires and just doing continuity readings. I was actually able to find continuity through the whole winding, so which I was really surprised. So I was, believe it or not, able to fix this coil, and it works great, as I'll show you right here. As you can see, I got my handy dandy setup. There's the condenser there, 6-volt battery. This is just all this wires and everything are just basically for hooking everything up for grounding. This is how I test them before I even put them on the motors. And as you can see, I'll try to do it so the phone will pick it up because it's hard for some reason when you're recording. It's trying to just catch it at the right time. As you can see, she's sparking. And all I do is just to basically just tap on the battery, which is in essence acting like the points. You know, just doing that. So let's see, actually I can get a pretty good, I was messing around, and I can get a pretty good snap out of this guy here. Let's see if I can, so let's see, I can even go further yet. I'll go over here. I was getting some really nice blue sparks out of it. Look at that. Now that is what I call a pretty darn good coil right there. I did notice on this coil, for some reason, and I think it's because maybe it's a later date. Like I was saying earlier, I think all these parts in this coil is actually an aftermarket, or later on down the road. Original Briggs, early Briggs coils, this style, they usually run about 2.5, 2.7K. This one's running 6.8K or 6,800 ohms. Um, and a lot of coils, newer coils, actually run on that high resistance on your high voltage winding. So anyway, yeah, as you see, she works great. So I'm going to go ahead and put her on the motor and then go from there. I think what I'm going to do is I have two more other coils that I actually I have for my Briggs Model Z project and that original Briggs PB coil. I think I'm going to do a video and we're going to tear one down here and just to see, because I've had, this is two of them now I was able to actually fix. My Briggs FH coil, the winding, actually the small little fine wire had corrosion on it and it rotted through, and I was able to fix that one. And then this one here, somewhere down, I don't know, like the first layer, the winding had gotten broken. I can tell you on this guy, um, the wire is like real. It's like trying to solder together like hair, fine as frog's hair. So it took me a while. For some reason, it just didn't want to, even when I scraped the lamination and the varnish off the wire itself, it just did not want to, solder did not want to stick to it for some reason. But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. We got a good coil. I'll get it on the motor and we'll go from there. See if we can't get it running. Oh yeah, I almost forgot real quick. I just wanted to show you what I actually used to re-insulate this coil. Got this stuff from Spray On Red insulating varnish. It's actually got 2600 volts per mil insulation capacity. So a mil is 1,000, so it's good for 26,000 volts per 1,000th of thickness. Initially, to get the wires back on together after everything loose and carefully, I ended up using this insulating tape, cambric tape. This is sticky back, and this is some stuff I didn't even really specially buy to do this. Some stuff I had laying around for some other projects from years and years and years, and it worked. And then the final wrap I did was this this stuff here, varnish cambric tape, 2510. I don't know if it's even the right stuff. I've done 2 coils with it now. This stuff here doesn't have the sticky back. It's just the tape itself. So what I do is spray the varnish, and as I'm spraying the varnish, and I'll wrap it with this and let it dry, or let it tack up, and then wrap it with that. And then the final coats, I did 3 layers of the varnish, and I let it sit on top of the, because I had to let it dry. I wasn't going to put it in the oven. The wife wouldn't be too happy with that, so I ended up actually just put it on top of the furnace when it's running, heating the house, which gets nice and hot on top of that. So anyway, that's the stuff I ended up using. So on we go. So I got some good news and I got some bad news. Actually, what I thought was going to be a happy ending, I got the coil and everything put back in. I got great spark. I thought, yeah, this will be great. Have a happy ending. I'll put it on the engine stand over there and fire it up, and make a video. Hey, everything's great. Peaches and cream and all. Well, after trying to start it, it wouldn't start. I noticed when I got into it, it didn't have a whole lot of compression anyway. I thought, man, a little worn out, rings are kind of stuck, who knows, all that, yada, yada, yada. And so anyway, I went to start it, and it just maybe did a couple puffs and, constantly kept backfiring to the carburetor. So I thought, man, the valves are kind of, maybe they got carbon in the valves, they're all carboned up. Anyway, so after coming to the conclusion that it was not going to start, even with a little, motivation, a little ether in a can, it still wasn't going to do it. So knowing that it didn't have a whole lot of compression, I ended up pulling the head off. And I'm here to tell you, they literally ran the walls off this thing. I've seen some, ridge wear and stuff like that, but most of these older Briggses like this, they usually don't run that long. There's other problems before you actually wear the cylinder wall down. So check this out. So as you can see if I can get down in there. Pictures, the camera really doesn't show a whole lot of justice. Over here on the side there, I gotta hold the flashlight. But anyway, you can see it's like the rust is there's pretty good pitting going on there. But that ridge right there, you can see that line right there, and where the rings stop, the ring wear area, there's literally like, I don't know, it's probably going to take more than 10 thousandths overboard to clean this up and to get it running halfway decent. But anyway, so that's what I found. I guess so. What's turned into a resurrection. Glad I didn't make it one of them will it run motors, because, well, yeah, it'll run all right. But now I'm gonna, I'm probably have to bore it. Well, I'm gonna bore it out. Put a new piston in there. Find an oversized piston. I know the Briggs models A, M, L, that family series of engines all use a 2 1/4 bore and stroke. So finding a piston shouldn't be a problem. I have access, I have a mill and all that other stuff. So, yep, it looks like it's going to be a teardown. So anyway, as you can see, cylinder's pretty wore out. So I'm glad I didn't do one of those will it run videos, because it definitely wasn't going to run. Of course it will run, yeah, but by the time I bore it out and everything, it's going to run. It's going to run good. But I'm still not going to do a full restoration on this guy. I'm going to leave it in its original work clothes. I'm not going to sandblast. I'm not going to paint it. I'm not going to do a full restoration. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm just going to get it back to good running, mechanical running condition. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I guess this is going to turn into a 2-part series, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.